Hi again, everybody. So we're back for the first real video we've done in a few weeks. Actually, I've had all the birthday videos and stuff. We tried to get that out the way, and now in a few weeks we'll be going to Memphis. So I have the Memphis takeover, 3 days of Memphis and 3 days in Branson. We missed some news. We're going to get all to it right now. We're going to start with the NBA, but there's also, I just want to go ahead and say, there's going to be a schedule prediction video for Georgia football. It's the first time that I have done one of these for Georgia, so we will do it now. We're just going to talk about real quick. Dakota LaFew signed with the Orlando Magic in the NBA Summer League. I did not know the NBA Summer League started that quickly. It's going on right now. So there's that. Brooklyn has signed Terry Roberts to a Summer League deal as well. So 2 point guards. How about that? 2 point guards. The NBA must have changed their schedule because I do not remember the Summer League starting that quick. It did. It literally was 2 weeks after this NBA season started. They had already started the Summer League. And I might have my memory wrong, but that is how I remember that. I do not remember the Summer League being that early after the off season. But enough of that. Dakota and Terry are going to do great. The Magic have already this is so behind. The Magic have already played a game, I believe. And I don't know how they did, but hopefully Dakota and Terry do good enough to get roster spots. Terry is in the G League. This will be Dakota's first stint in the NBA, so hopefully Terry does good. Hopefully Dakota does good. The Hawks haven't even played yet, so Asa Newell has not got to play yet in the Summer League. But we absolutely hope they do good. The Charleston Classic and Georgia's game in Atlanta has still not been announced, so we still do not know who Georgia will be playing at Charleston. Now, I've mentioned in the past, I think it might be West Virginia because those two matchups make sense. West Virginia and Georgia make sense because they're the okay basketball schools, and Clemson and Xavier makes sense because they are the greater basketball schools. So, really no anything. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe it's July 8th and we still haven't got an announcement for what the seeding of these games are yet. That's just me. I don't understand why it takes this long to officially start making games. We'll check the Division I docket one more time just to be sure, but it is 9:51 in the morning, so yeah, it probably won't be anything changed. And then once again, we don't know Georgia's game in Atlanta. All we know, they're going to be playing in Atlanta, but we do not know against who. Yeah, so the game against Atlanta on December 13th is still to be announced, and the Charleston Classic on November 21st to 23rd is still to be determined. I don't understand why it's taken that long, but it is what it is. Now, let's flip the page to football. And I did mention this during Chile. I'll start doing football on here this year. This is going to be an interesting year for Georgia. There is a lot of unknowns about Georgia right now. I believe Gunnar Stockton is going to be fine, but when you really look at it, he's only played two. He played a half a game versus Texas and a game versus Notre Dame. So I put Gunnar in the same situation. I put Michael Penix in with the Falcons. You've only got a sample size, and Gunnar played really good against Texas and Notre Dame. But you also have to take into consideration, yes, that was only a half in a game. Pretty much a game and a half. That's all it was. So you really have to just start cautiously thinking about what's going to happen. Now, like I just said, I believe Gunner's going to be fine, but that is you have to remember that he has not played much at all, really. So, August 30th, Georgia plays Marshall. That game, we're just going to be honest. Marshall, Austin Peay, and Charlotte. August 30th versus Marshall. September 8th versus Austin Peay. And November 22nd versus the Charlotte 49ers. Those are automatic wins for Georgia. There is absolutely no way Georgia loses that game or those games at all. If Georgia loses those games, then, Georgia's got issues, which will not happen because Georgia will not lose versus Marshall, Austin Peay, or Charlotte. September 13th, the Dogs go to Tennessee at 3:30 kickoff on no channel on ABC. There we go, ABC. I thought it said ESPN for a second. I thought it was ABC. It is ABC. Number one, what a weekend this is going to be for yours truly. We're going to go see the Demon Slayer movie that Friday, so that'll be September 12th. Georgia at Tennessee September 13th, and then September 14th at Atlanta Falcons and Minnesota Vikings on Sunday Night Football. Going to be a great weekend. Tennessee has not beat Georgia in Knoxville since 2015. They have not beat Georgia at all since 2016. It took a lucky Hail Mary prayer for that to happen. I still believe the streak is intact. This year, Georgia goes to Knoxville, Tennessee, and shuts the Volunteer up. And something that always bugs me about people, and this is just, one of those things where you agree or you disagree, you like it and you don't like it. I like Tennessee's offense. There's going to be a bunch of Georgia fans the week we play Tennessee say something along the lines of, gimmick offense and all that. Yeah, I don't care. I like Tennessee's offense. I think it's fun to watch. I think it's unique. You're going to have 5 receivers out wide, literally feet apart from each other, and you're going to run the ball, and then you're going to start throwing it down the field more. I really like, and that's the thing. I don't think Josh Heupel is that good of a coach, but I do believe that his offense can make him look like a better coach than he is at some points. Tennessee fans might be mad that I say that, and I apologize. I'm just giving my opinion, but I don't really think that Josh Heupel is that good of a coach. So that's why I believe Georgia, September 13th, goes to Tennessee and wins. After that, Dogs have a bye week. And then it is time for the biggest Georgia game in decades. September 27th, Georgia faces Alabama. All right, so once again, we continue. We continue with the Alabama game. As I was saying, this is going to be one of Georgia's biggest games in a long time. It's in Athens, 7:30 on ABC. I really believe Georgia. I want to say Georgia wins this game because I really believe Georgia could win every game. But when you take into consideration that Georgia has not beat Alabama in a regular season game since 2007, and they haven't beat them in Athens since 2003, it kind of makes it difficult to say that, hey, Georgia could go in here and win the game. Because last year, we looked at it last year, and I remember saying, I ain't speaking for everybody, but I thought that we were going to go in Tuscaloosa last year and steamroll Alabama. I mean, Jalen Milroe is an okay quarterback. Kalen DeBoer's not that good of a head coach. He's in his first year at Alabama. It's Saturday night. Georgia's got everything going for him, and then Georgia just gets completely stunned. They had absolutely no idea how to respond. At one point, it was 28-7, and you're like, oh, well, what now? And, Georgia I do give the Dogs credit. We did come back, and if Georgia would have finished the comeback, it would have went down as one of the greatest moments in Georgia's football history. That Dylan Bell, the Bell touchdown is instantly, one of the moments if Georgia would have won, you're going to think about that for the rest of your life. Unfortunately, Georgia did not, but until Georgia could beat Alabama, I think this is a loss. So that would put Georgia at 3-1 so far. And I hate to say that, but until we could beat Alabama, you know, I'm not going to say that, hey, for sure, Georgia's going to go to Alabama, or Georgia's going to play Alabama and win. After that, Georgia plays Kentucky October 4th at 12 o'clock on ABC or ESPN. That's a win. Kentucky is going to have a horrible year this year. I really hope they do good, but I don't believe they will. Mark Stoops is... It makes you wonder for the last 2 years or so if Mark Stoops had his feet outside the door waiting to walk away from Kentucky. They just not been good, really. They were not good last year, and I think the year before that they were either okay or I think in 23 they were all right, but I mean in 2024 last year was a disaster. Saying that Kentucky is going to have 3 wins is kind of being just generous with how bad they're going to be this year. So that's a win. So that put Georgia at 4-1. October 11th, Georgia goes to Auburn. That's a night game. It just says night. The time has not been announced either, or the channel. At Auburn. If you guys remember the last time Georgia went to Auburn in 2023, they needed a very, very late comeback, back to Bowers into the end zone. And even then, Auburn almost drove down the field and won the game. That's going to be a challenging game for Georgia, but I still believe Georgia wins. I am not a huge, big Hugh Freeze guy. I think Auburn could have had better choices hiring somebody else. And I know that might offend some people, and I apologize, but I mean, I just don't really believe Hugh Freeze is all of that for Auburn. Brian Harsin wasn't either. I mean, if you want to be honest, should Auburn have fired Gus Malzahn? I mean, he's one of the only coaches to beat Alabama regularly. Yeah, that puts you in a tough situation, but then you have to take into consideration he would lose regular season games they should have won, so I guess not. So far, Georgia is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5-1 through 6 games. And, you know, one more win away from bowl eligibility, which October 16th versus Ole Miss in a flex game. No time has been announced for that game. Georgia will get, because Georgia will beat Ole Miss. Yes, Ole Miss beat Georgia last year. Yes, Georgia looked horrible last year, but it's a home game for Georgia. That's going to make the complete difference. Ole Miss will find some way to screw up like they did against Florida. And Georgia will win that game. So that puts Georgia now at 6-1. So the Dogs are bowl eligible. November 1st, Georgia plays Florida. And the Gators almost beat Georgia last year. Florida looked really, really good in the first half. And then they'd start playing with a quarterback from Yale. And even then, for the first quarter, it looked all right. But Florida's luck runs out. They will not beat Georgia. Georgia will beat Florida again. And just because I think Florida does not beat Georgia, I think the Gators may shock some people this year. I really do. I ain't saying, 13 wins, 12 wins, national championship. But they might do better than what some people think they may do. So let's see. But that's a win for Georgia. At Mississippi State, Georgia wins that. Mississippi State is good. I hope they improve because I like Mississippi State, but they are not really good at all. November 15th versus Texas. This game is interesting because how awesome is it for a Georgia fan? You get Alabama, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Florida. Alabama, Kentucky, Ole Miss, and Texas in the same home schedule. That is pretty awesome if you're a Georgia season ticket holder or someone who goes to games. That is incredible. Texas once again will lose to Georgia. I mean, that's what they're known for in the SEC at this point, losing to Georgia November 15th. That game has no time or channel yet, so it is a loss for Texas. Georgia will now, when Georgia beats Texas in that game, twice in football, once in basketball, and once in football against Georgia would beat Texas 4 times in football and basketball. If you don't count baseball, the Longhorns got us beat there. November 15th, Georgia once again beats Texas. November 22nd, Georgia beats Charlotte. The game's at 12:45 on the SEC Network. And then November 28th, Georgia and Georgia Tech in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, because Georgia Tech gave away the home game to play in a neutral site game. Georgia wins this game. It's always great to beat Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech have really, if you count 2022, 23, and 24, Georgia Tech has come very close from beating Georgia. In 2022, they played really good in the first half, then fizzled out in the second half. In 2023, they played really a complete game, but just had a few costly turnovers and bad drives that went on to derail that game. And then if you count last year, Georgia Tech dominated the whole game, and then in the last 5 minutes, Georgia just comes out with fireballs and starts stunning Georgia Tech, and then before you know it, they're in 8 overtimes, and Nate Frazier is walking into the arena, I apologize. Arena football on the Brains. The Sharks play Friday night. Walking to the end zone with a victory in 8 overtimes. So out of all those games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I believe Georgia goes 11-1 next season, or this season, 2025. I believe Georgia goes 11-1. That would be a really good season for the Dogs. That would have to be an SEC championship, unless a team Georgia don't play, LSU or something, goes undefeated, and there's 2 undefeated teams. So yeah, 11-1 for Georgia football. That would be a successful season, in my opinion. That is a perfect season, really. That's incredible. 11-1. So that's my prediction. Georgia goes 11-1 with wins over Marshall, Austin Peay, at Tennessee, Kentucky, at Auburn, Ole Miss, Florida, at Mississippi State, Texas, Charleston, and Georgia Tech. Or Charlotte, sorry. That's the same week of the Charleston Classic. With wins over Charlotte and Georgia Tech, with the only loss being to Alabama. We'll see what happens. Go Dogs.